Hello friends, welcome to this August update on international investments. As investors, we know that diversification across asset classes is crucial for getting reasonable risk-adjusted returns, as the diversification reduces the overall volatility of the portfolio and also increases the probability of getting better returns from different asset classes. For example, if you look at the past few years, we see that in calendar year 17, domestic equities performed the best, whereas in calendar year 18, it was mainly fixed income and gold which gave the best returns. In calendar year 19, it was international equity that outperformed, and in calendar year 20, it was gold that outperformed during the COVID pandemic. In this calendar year, CY21, we are seeing that both domestic and international equity are outperforming gold and fixed income. Hence, we can see that it's important that we have exposure to all these different asset classes to balance our portfolio. Now, global horizon in investing matters because it gives us diversification across different economies, across different geographies, as well as currencies. And lastly, it also gives us access to various themes which are not available to us in India. Now, at Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC, we provide a platform for investors to invest in international stocks. The first category is fund of funds, where we have partnered with Julius Baer. Investors can invest in the fund of fund in rupees, and the fund of fund in turn invests in international mutual funds, which will invest in stocks abroad. The other category is our Aditya Birla Sun Life International Equity Fund, which directly invests in international equities. So the first fund of fund is the ABSL Global Emerging Opportunities Fund, which invests in the Julius Baer Next Gen Fund. Now, this fund provides access to 5 themes which are not available in India, namely digital disruption, which covers sub-segments like automation and robotics, cloud computing in AI, cybersecurity, cryptocurrency, and so on. Second theme is energy transition, which covers electric vehicles, renewable energy, etc. The third theme is shifting lifestyles, which covers digital health, genomics, global education, and so on. The fourth theme is feeding the world, which covers agri-chemicals, water, plant-based meat, etc. And finally, the fifth theme is Rising Asia, which covers subsegments like tourism and so on. So overall, you can see that these themes can give us access to companies which are not present in India. Now, if you see the top holdings of the Julius Baer Next Gen Fund, they are mainly technology names, for example, like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook, and Taiwan Semiconductor, as well as healthcare and pharma companies like United Health, Thermo Fisher Scientific, and so on. Overall, if you look at the thematic allocation, about 2/3 of the allocation is to the digital disruption and the shifting lifestyle themes. The geographic allocation is about 2/3 to the United States and the rest to Europe and Asia. The two biggest sectors are healthcare and information technology. The performance of the fund has been very consistent. Over the past 3 years, the fund has given a CAGR of almost 15% in US dollars. In INR terms, the fund has given a 1-year return of about 40% and a 2-year CAGR of about 28%. The second fund of fund is the Aditya Birla Sun Life Global Excellence Equity Fund. This invests in the underlying Julius Baer Global Excellence Equity Fund. This fund is a diversified fund which invests in global stocks that are industry leaders, which have a good brand, good pricing power, deep moats, and leading market share. The key pillars of investment are earnings growth, cash flow, and a stable balance sheet. If you look at the portfolio, we'll see that it's very well-rounded. There are industry leaders like Nike, Home Depot, Hermes, which have good brands, and companies that are defensive like Johnson & Johnson, Merck, Roche, L'Oreal, and so on. We also have companies with high barriers to entry, such as Intuitive Surgical, as well as platform companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, SAP, and so on. Overall, the portfolio has a 33% allocation to information technology, a 16% allocation to healthcare, and the rest is distributed across financials, industrials, telecom, etc. Top 10 stocks are largely Microsoft, Facebook, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, and other stocks. The performance of this fund has also been very good. In 2019, the fund gave a return of 25% in US dollar terms, and in 2020, the fund gave a return of 16% in US dollar terms. If you look at returns in rupee terms for the past 6 months since we launched the fund of fund, the FOF has given a return of about 18%. The last fund I'd like to mention is the Aditya Birla Sun Life International Equity Fund Plan A. It's an open-ended, diversified fund, and it's being sub-advised by Morningstar. It doesn't have any geographical, market cap, or sector bias, and the pillars of investment are quality and valuation. On the quality front, the fund invests in stocks that have economic moats, for example, intangible assets like Coca-Cola, high switching costs like Oracle or Workday, companies that have network effect like MasterCard, or companies that have cost advantages like FedEx and Alcoa, and lastly, companies that have efficient scale, for example, the Canadian National Railways or Sprint Telecom and other companies that fall in that bracket. If you look at the sectoral allocation, it's a very well-balanced portfolio. It's about 20% allocation to consumer goods, 20% allocation to financial services, 15% allocation to IT, 11% allocation to pharma, and the rest divided across manufacturing, services, automobiles, metals, etc. The top 10 holdings are also very well diversified across Google, Toronto Dominion Bank, the Royal Bank of Canada, Julius Baer Group, Berkshire Hathaway, Salesforce.com, Yum China, and other companies. If you look at the performance of the fund, it has been very consistent. Over the past 1 year, it has given a return in rupee terms of about 28%. And even over the past 3, 5, and 10-year CAGR, we see that the returns have been between 12 to 15%, and they are very consistent. I hope this gave you a good overview of our platform for international investments, namely the two fund of funds and our international equity fund. Thank you and happy investing.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.